So I'm here in Poland to film some about the Die Glocke project, or the Bell. The Bell project, I may be getting some of this wrong, so you might want to look it up yourself, but the Bell project was a subset of Project Riese, which was a strange, mysterious engineering project that took place during the latter stages of the war, and people have no idea what they were working on. All they know is they left behind huge networks of underground tunnels and barracks and these abandoned POW camps, and they were working on it until the last days of the war. This was the location of the POW camp, the prisoner camp established for Jewish inmates that were working on Project Riese, the building of it. This memorial was only put up in 2010, but according to what I found online, it probably took over an existing camp run by organization Schmelt. And you got to remember, there were a lot of different organizations involved in this project. It's suggested that about 3,000 prisoners lived in this camp, but most of the ruins you'll see are actually SS huts. The actual camp tents were made of plywood. They were about 3 meters in diameter, and 20 people lived in each one. These were Jews from Hungary and Poland, but also from Greece, Czechoslovakia, Germany, and Romania. And most of these bunkers that you can see here are SS barracks that were surrounding the POW camp. And surprisingly, these barracks go pretty far, all the way down the road here. I want to see if I can't get a wider angle shot of them. Looks like a lot of pottery in there. But it kind of looks like these just collapsed under their own weight. But I would say these go for about maybe a quarter mile down the road. And a lot of the locals reported very mysterious sights around here. They reported a water tower, that the water tower had been knocked over and they were chaining up some sort of bell-shaped UFO thing with a swastika on it that looked like it was trying to escape. This is Museum Molke. This is where the water tower was that the locals kind of claimed had that weird acorn shape over it that was chained down and rotating. And this is actually, documents leaked from that were used to fluff the Call of Duty lore, one of the original Nazi zombies Call of Duty, but it actually exists, and we're visiting it. So, due to increasing Allied air raids, Nazi Germany relocated a large part of its armaments to Lower Silesia, the Silesian region that we're at now, all these rolling mountains in southwestern Poland. In September 1943, Albert Speer, which was the Minister of Armaments and War Production, organized a thing called Operation Taut. As a result, the Silesian Industrial Company, which I've already covered, was created to do construction work. Just about a month later, and by November that year, POW camps, construction camps, were created all over in a series of clusters, which I'll discuss in a little while, the layout of these camp networks, but it was feeding off of Auschwitz. By the end of the war, nobody really knows how many prisoners lost their lives here. In April 1944, Hitler was actually dissatisfied with the project, whatever its purpose was, and he ordered Organization Taut to overtake the Silesian Industrial Company and oversee the construction of these strange tunnels, of which their purpose is still really unknown. And according to incomplete data, because Nazis were not the best with keeping data concerning prisoners, people think that about 13,000 prisoners were used in this project. For what purpose, who knows. An estimated 5,000 victims lost their lives. We know that with positivity that 8,995 people worked here, but again, their records were very incomplete. And by the end of 1944, another typhoid epidemic broke out, killing more prisoners. The front line was approaching, and by February 1945, a few places were still left operational. And a few places even had prisoners until the very end of the war. When the Russians came through, I believe they said they found some prisoners. The Nazis just abandoned them, you know, like cowards. This particular complex is a grid of tunnels. They are 3,100 meters long, 10,700 meters long, and a total of 42,000 cubic meters. It's composed of large underground halls up to 12 meters in height, and it's been open to visitors since 2004. There are many foundations above ground. There's a lot of machinery out here. There's a lot of machine gun nests, and you can see unfinished destroyed buildings, a bunker, water reservoirs, just like at the last castle, depots of building materials, thousands of bags of cement that have been fossilized over the years. They harden in the rain, and there's a network of narrow railways connecting the tunnels to the nearby village. It was disassembled and scrapped for metal after the war. But you got to ask yourself, what was the purpose of all this? Because this was not the only camp complex. This was not the only area that they're working, because these camps stretched out from the headquarters down to a cluster of camps, which I'm basically doing a line through, and they still don't know the real purpose behind it. So this is at Wolfsberg Mountain, and the next few videos, until I say otherwise, are actually filmed at Wolfsberg. Let me get my light out. It's not a very bright light. This looks like where they would have stored the bags of dry concrete mix. Or maybe a quickly constructed building. This is interesting. Vehicle, maybe? Down here you have a drainage ditch. Maybe they were doing vehicle repairs in here. And on top you got something like a building.